Hey guys, David Tao with VinePair, and today we are looking at Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923. That's C for the third and final batch of the year, 9 for the release month, that's September, and 23 because, well, it's 2023. Fun fact, this is only the second batch released since Heaven Hill dropped the 12-year minimum age statement on Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. The first of those batches was actually under 12 years. Well, the youngest whiskey in here is actually older than 12 years. It's actually 13 years and 7 months old. Another interesting fact, this is actually on the higher end of proof for these Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases at 133 proof, so definitely bring in the heat. But before we go into the video component, make sure to check out my full written review at the link in the description below. I go deep on tasting notes, aromas, the finish, all sorts of things. Make sure you subscribe to VinePair on YouTube, which you're watching right now. It's real easy. It's like one click. YouTube makes it super, super easy. All right, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923, try saying that 6 times fast, clocks in at a whopping 133 proof or 66.5% alcohol by volume. This is a nationwide release. Again, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases 3 times per year, and this is technically the oldest age-stated Elijah Craig Barrel Proof we've ever had. Now, most of the batches contain barrels with a variety of ages, but that 12-year minimum age statement was always just that, the minimum age of barrels in the blend. The minimum age of barrels in this blend is over 13 and a half years. We're going to see how that carries over into the whiskey itself. All right, let's bring the heat. Normally, I let this sit in a glass for 5 minutes before I actually nose this, but I've already reviewed this. You can check out my full written review at the link below, and I'm just going to see if I pick up on those same notes. Oh, that is deep, rich oak. I mean, if you like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, on first nose, you're going to be very familiar with this. There's actually a woody note there that's a little uncommon for these batches. It's actually like not so much oaky as it is cedar. So oily cedar wood, pine, roasted pine nuts. Those are different things, but I'm getting them both. Leathery tobacco, that dried tobacco. There's a little bit of sweetness in this. There's just like a hint of blood orange. That's actually really welcome because otherwise this would be super heavy on the leather and tobacco. So a little fruitiness and just a little bit of citrus, pretty welcome here. Let's dive in, 133 proof. I need a sip to acclimate the palate on that. Oh, wow. Caramel, tobacco, apple butter. This is the second time I've tried this whiskey, getting kind of an apple butter note, tons of wood influence on that. Again, leathery tobacco, but there's plenty of sweetness too. It's not all just like oily and tannic. You know, it's the oldest age stated Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that we've ever had as far as what's on the label, but definitely not the most tannic, definitely not the most oaky. I don't think it's over oaked. Actually, there's a little bit of citrus on here too that, like, on the nose helps cut some of those deep, dark, oily leather and tobacco notes. It's a little bit of like lemon drop candy. This bottle's actually been open for a couple days now, and I get more of an apple butter note than I did on the first review. The finish borders on almost too dark. I actually might have liked a little bit more fruit. If you like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and if you liked some of the previous batches from the last few years, this is a pretty classic finish, and I think you'll be pretty happy with it. I sure was. I really enjoyed this. I can't stop drinking it, but at 133 proof, this is going to catch up to me pretty quickly. I did try adding water in various amounts to this bourbon, and as you might predict, it definitely calmed it down a little bit, brought out some more floral notes, a little bit more acidity, some of those lemon, some of those blood orange notes, and cut the edge off the heat. Don't be afraid to add between 1 and 4 drops of water to an ounce of this just to start, maybe even more. It's kind of fun. You get to play blender at home a little bit and drop by drop mess with the proof to find that sweet spot for you. It's a little different for everyone. I tend to like between 1 and 2 drops per ounce, just enough to calm down the heat a little bit and bring out some sweeter notes, a little bit more acidity, maybe some herbal notes, those tannic notes. The oak definitely has plenty of influence here, definitely more than the previous 2 batches from this year. So there you have it, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923, the final release of 2023, and I really enjoyed this. I think this might be my favorite release of the year. It definitely drinks a little bit older than the previous 2 releases, the A and B batches from 2023. I think having some younger barrels in the blend can help balance things out a little bit more. Again, these batches sometimes can creep up on too oaky or over oaked, which is like one of the scariest terms in the bourbon drinker's arsenal. But I do appreciate the transparency. I do appreciate knowing to the month exactly how old the youngest whiskey is in the blend. It's another point of information for people to consider before they actually purchase these bottles. And more information tends to be a good thing, especially in the bourbon world, where oftentimes we're grasping at straws to figure out what's really in the bottle. But I want to know, what did you think of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923? How does it stack up to other Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases you've tried? Do you agree with my tasting notes? Do you disagree? And remember, taste is subjective. Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, I'm David Thomas Tao for VinePair. Thanks for tuning in.